Knowing this near universal pattern helps to assess new brands and existing ones.
What don't marketers know?
Quite a lot. Marketers largely live in an anything-goes world where the latest fashion or fad drives an awful lot of practice.
Segmentation is the recognition you can't serve everyone with equal satisfaction.
This is the Zac Anesbury Show.
Welcome. On today's podcast clip, we have Associate Professor Müller from Northwest University, South Africa. So you've got some really cool, so we've spoken a lot about your education and how you got into the university sector. But you have some really interesting progressions, I think, within the university. And the one question I had to begin with was, so you did your undergraduate at Northwest University and then, honors, master's, PhD, and now you work there, right? It's so similar. I've never moved either.
This year, in essence, is my 20th year on this campus.
Wow. And I'm guessing your family still lives nearby, and that was the reason you enrolled in this place?
My mom used to live around here for my whole life. I think she moved away 2 years ago to live close to my sister. But yes.
How far away is that?
It's about 2.5 hours away.
Okay. Is there a university there?
No.
Bugger. So yeah, why have you? Because there's, as you look around for a lot of different academics, you see some people who seem to move a lot, and then you see people who have moved not at all. People like me and you. Why have you stayed at the one university? Is it for a specific reason, or and obviously there's pros and cons of each way.
I think this is a difficult question to answer. For me, it's twofold. In South Africa, you've got your, let's say, I don't want to say rural, but you're more, my English word for it's plaaslik. It's more, let's stick to rural universities, not in big cities. And then you've got your big universities that's in Johannesburg or Pretoria. And I actually grew up on a farm in the Free States, far away from everything. So I'm not a happy person if I'm in traffic. So I think that's one of the main reasons I wouldn't move to like Johannesburg. And as I mentioned, in South Africa, you've got your rural universities like Northwest, and there's one in Bloemfontein, but that's very far away. So if I want to kind of remain in the same region I'm currently at, I need to travel to Johannesburg, and then I'm going to sit in traffic 2-3 hours a day. So I think that's part of it. And I must say I really like the culture where I'm currently at. And yes, I've been at the same faculty for the past 14 years, but there has been so many institutional changes that it really doesn't feel like I've been at the same place for 14 years. I started off, when I started working here, the School of Economics and Management was one school. Then we split into Management Sciences, I think, at about 2018. So that, in essence, felt like moving job to a new portion of the institution.
It's interesting you should say that, because I agree. Sometimes, because I've been here at the same place now for quite a while, and yeah, you're right. Every time there's these big structural changes, often implemented by vice chancellors, it does feel like a different place at times. I think what also you might feel is you haven't stagnated, and I think that's what's kind of really amazing is you're in the same institution, but they've constantly provided you with opportunities to grow. That's what I'm seeing anyway. So, I guess that helps to retain you there. Yeah, because I don't think, I would hate to stagnate. I would really hate it to begin with. So you started your career there after, actually before you finished your PhD. So during your PhD, you're a junior lecturer and researcher. What sort of roles and responsibilities does that position hold?
Okay, so in our institution, we've got 4 main KPIs that you need to contribute towards. When you're at junior lecturer or lecturer level, obviously the teaching and learning is a bit more, but there's always a research component to that. So during those years, majority of my time went into teaching and learning. Yes, the researchers added there, but the focus was teaching and learning during those years.
And then I'm guessing once you've finished your PhD, you get almost like a mini promotion to lecturer. Is that how it works?
Yes, it used to be automatic. Like when I got the job as junior lecturer just with an honours degree. The moment I got my master's degree, it was an automatic promotion to lecturer. And when I got my PhD, it was an automatic promotion to senior lecturer. Since then, they did change it. So now there's other requirements and publications that needs to be in place and supervision. So the bar has been raised, but I was lucky still to move automatically just with the qualification.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I was going to ask you, I mean, you still might even know actually, what is the promotion process kind of like it in South African universities? Is it, that you obviously, if you're a balanced sort of academic where you have teaching and research, it's, I'm guessing, quality and quantity of publications and then making sure students are satisfied. Is that about it, or?
I think it's difficult to answer that as a blanket for South Africa. I think it differs from institution to institution. But in our institution, there's specific guidelines, a procedure promotion document that outlines exactly what you need to achieve to move from each level to the next. They do encourage a balanced profile. However, the 2 main profiles is the teaching and learning and research. And as you move up in the ranks, the research does weigh a bit more.
Yeah, that is something you do tend to see is universities, as much as they are about educating students and producing high quality graduates, they do reward research a little bit more than teaching. So we were similar in culture in that way as well. And I can't exactly remember when it changed, but they created specific teaching orientated career paths and promotion. And so we've finally got I think it was a year ago or 2 years ago, we finally got our full professor who only teaches, which I thought was pretty remarkable. So even once they made the policy change, that effect still took 5 or 6 years, I think, to actually implement. But it was really nice to see because we have some brilliant teaching focused staff. And it's good to see them actually, rewarded for everything that they do.
I think that's something that's lacking across the board. Our good teaching and learning staff is not being recognized as well as they should. I think partly because it's so difficult to really measure teaching and learning success. Module difficulty differs, student intake differs. But yes, in our institution, it is possible, but it's extremely difficult. If you've got that research up there, it's just so much easier to get promoted.
Hi everyone, Zac here again, and just a few quick reminders before you go. If you're listening to the podcast and are considering incorporating it into your secondary school or university courses, then please let me know and I can guide you through the process. If you're enjoying the show and getting some insights from it, then please leave me a 5-star review on your podcast listening platform. It would go a long way to spreading the word. If you know someone who would benefit from this content, then I would be thrilled if you could consider sharing this episode and its knowledge with them. And finally, thank you for becoming part of the community for this show.